Hi Eva, my name is Ezra Stanley and my student number is 181999387. My action research project is on Dialogic teaching and learning. Malabar Public School is a Department of Education school located in Malabar in Sydney's southeastern suburbs. MPS is a small school with approximately 298 enrolments ranging from kindergarten to year 6. The students come from a range of socio-economic backgrounds, with a range of cultural backgrounds also being represented. In 2019, there was an enrollment figure of 26% of students from a language background other than English and 5% of students from an Indigenous background. The school itself strongly values strong community ties and strives to provide a safe and inclusive learning environment for all students. Furthermore, the school places strong emphasis on personal fitness and well-being through dedicating one session a week to health and well-being and active engagement in community sporting events overall. MPS aims to offer students a diverse learning experience which merges ICT and real and relevant learning experiences. The school presents a broad range of student opportunities to express their leadership capacity, such as public speaking challenges and the Premier's Debating Challenge. MPS also supports the inclusion of students with additional needs in mainstream classrooms by providing specialised support staff for EALD students and students with disabilities. The class is a Stage 3 Year 6 class. The class teacher has shown that she fits in well with the school's philosophy by embracing a constructivist approach to her teaching, engaging the students in collaborative and project-based learning regularly. The classroom presents a flexible learning environment where students are given the freedom to work in an area in which they feel comfortable learning. Through observation, it was found that the learners presented varying degrees of ability. The class consisted of 6 EALD students and 2 LBOTE students, 1 student with autism and 1 student with dyslexia. Furthermore, it was found that the class consisted of several students which are high athletic achievers, often missing class due to other commitments. The class also consisted of high achieving students who are performing beyond a Stage 3 level in KLAs of English and mathematics. It was also found that several students are confident and enthusiastic public speakers and debaters. A personal interest project based on dialogic teaching and learning is my chosen focus for my action research project. My personal philosophy centers around pedagogy that provides the best possible opportunities for my students to succeed in our rapidly changing world. This means we must support learners to transition from consumers to active and informed global citizens who can contribute to society in other meaningful ways. My chosen research project reflects my teaching philosophy as it aims to increase student engagement and motivation through creating a productive dialogic space for students. The project aims to satisfy the role of classroom experiences in relation to engagement outlined by the motivation and engagement framework by creating learning experiences that are high cognitive, high affective, and high operative. This is achieved through the planning and implementation of multi-engaging experiences that offer real-world value through problem solving. This is reflected in my personal research project, which takes on a very real-world problem such as the unethical treatment of animals and allows students to engage with the topic in meaningful and innovative ways. Students are invited to engage in authentic, genuine dialogue that is meaningful and purposeful. By interacting, students are essentially interthinking. This is explained by sociocultural theory, which highlights that the development of thinking and knowledge depends on a dynamic relationship between social interaction and individual thinking, with language as the core means of bridging the gap between the two. This dialogic data will provide me with a very authentic and valuable representation of student engagement and evolving skills, rather than just an end product. Teacher-inclusive conversations where the power balance is shared with students, is an essential part of student engagement and will assist me in monitoring the success of this research project. Please see the next few slides, which show a series of multi-engaging experiences relevant to this action research project. In the second half of my practicum, I plan to implement my action research project with my Year 6 class. Over the course of the 4 weeks, I plan to provide many opportunities for the students to collaborate with their peers. I also plan to release control of directing classroom discussion by allowing opportunities for the students to engage in discussion with their peers. I will be monitoring the project consistently and reflecting on its progress through the collection of data. The data collector will provide me with the information on the impact of the action research on student motivation and engagement. Recording conversational data is an effective way for teachers to explore the quality of the conversation taking place, not just among students, but also between the teacher and the students. I will aim to voice record conversational data on the iPad during key discussion times in each lesson. If voice recordings are not possible, group or paired activities and one-on-one time with students will allow me to create transcripts through note-taking. By then creating transcripts from all my data, I can use the analytic data I have created to gauge student motivation and engagement. The motivation and engagement framework is a useful tool when measuring engagement, as I will be able to assess whether the conversation taking place contains any small e engaging messages, such as knowledge, ability, control, place, and voice. Furthermore, conversation reveals whether the lesson experience provides any evidence of the key elements of engagement: cognitive, affective, and operative. Please see the hypothetical conversation scenario for an example of how I would do this. By using the REAL framework to guide students' self-assessment, I aim to encourage students to engage in deeper levels of self-reflection about their perceived engagement and achievement. To end each learning experience, a ticket out reflection tool will be used. Responses will then be put on the "What stuck with you today" wall for other students to ponder over. Eventually, responses will be put into an assessment journal. To analyze data, I will draw on the motivation and engagement framework, focusing on whether responses present engaging messages in the sphere of the little e. As students receive these engaging messages, which challenge traditional ideas of power and control, they realize that their learning today is relevant to their lives and beneficial to their future. They begin to make these connections, realizing that school is a place that works for them, highlighting the connection between the big E and the little e. Throughout my action research project, I will be observing student engagement and motivation during key discussion times. This data, along with my mentor-teacher feedback sheets, will help me to determine whether student engagement is increasing throughout the project. These observations will also allow me to reflect on my own teaching and recognize what practices I consider to be engaging, supportive, and effective. Using the motivation and engagement framework's definition of engagement, I have created observation tasks that will help me monitor learner behavior as well as improve my efficiency. The questions that are included aim to measure if the learner's behavior meets the motivation and engagement criteria. For example, are the students cognitively, operatively, and effectively engaged? Following the collection of data, I will analyze the data to measure student achievement and engagement. For the conversational data, transcripts will be created. I will annotate these transcripts using the relevant syllabus outcomes and criteria to measure student achievement. Further, I will use the motivation and engagement frameworks, engaging messages, and definition of engagement to measure student engagement. Observational tasks and mentor-teacher feedback will provide a factual recount of student engagement and achievement and teachers' practice. I will take these away to interpret them at a later time. I will use the relevant syllabus outcomes again and the MEE framework of engaging messages and the definition of engagement to annotate observational tasks. Information that stands out will be recorded in my journal to assist future planning. To analyze self-assessment, responses will be collected from the What Stuck With You Today wall and glued to a piece of paper with the question that was asked. I will use the relevant syllabus outcomes again to annotate student achievement, as well as the MEE concepts of the engaging messages, ability, knowledge, place, voice, and control, and how the presence of these messages impact on the big E engagement. For example, is school a place that works for me? Eventually, responses would be put into an assessment journal. The current teaching context presents an overcrowded curriculum, meaning that there is a lot of focus on meeting the mandated outcomes. This presents an environment in which there is a lot of teacher-centered practice. The shift away from teacher-centered practice towards building a knowledge-building community allows the learners to engage in meaningful dialogue, which allows them to be heard. It is important the teacher is facilitating multi-engaging experiences that allows opportunities for these conversations to take place for all students. I believe that this action research project will give me the tools to collect the data necessary to evaluate student learning, as well as my own practice with the intention to improve. The project has helped me to explicitly identify an area of need and plan a course of action. Through focusing on dialogic teaching and learning, I hope to discover my own voice as a teacher. I hope to learn the power dynamics within my classroom and work towards student-centered strategies where the control is shared between the teacher and the students. By engaging the students in meaningful dialogue, I believe that this action research will enable me to plan experiences that will provide the best possible conditions for these conversations to take place. And I would also have the tools to collect valuable data. Further, I think it will help me to conduct lessons with more confidence in the future, as I will be focusing exclusively on dialogue. Through trial and error, I can decipher the teacher talk that encourages motivation and engagement. Please refer to this slide for a list of references used.